Eu acho que eu evoluí mais do que ele, né? Porque
Israel started training when he was a child. I started training old. So due to the fact that he's been training for so long, I actually evolved the most because I was a very young fighter when I fought him, and I was still better than him. And I actually conquered my best and being my best now after that fight.
foi a maior parte que eu evoluí.
Alex, so good to talk to you. What is it like having your first title fight experience here in New York City? It must be quite a big one for you.
Sensação
Well,
enorme.
it's a great feeling to be here in New York, fighting for the UFC belt is an immense satisfaction for me.
Satisfação.
And has it been different for you training for a 5-round fight? I'm sure you've done that in kickboxing, but to do that in MMA, how much more intensity has there been in your camp this time?
Bom, tem as vantagens e as desvantagens, né? De estar treinando.
It kind of like from kickboxing to MMA, it equals a little bit because MMA is a longer time, but in kickboxing is a longer pace, way more punches. In MMA, you don't get hit as much. So the fact that is intensity versus time, it equals.
Dá uma equilibrada.
We'll obviously get into the fight talking about Israel and this being your title shot, but I want our viewers to learn a little bit more about you as a person and where you come from. So tell us a little bit about your upbringing in the favelas of Brazil and how that's made you the person that you are today.
Pesado, né? Pra minha idade.
Well, it was a rough childhood in a certain way because I had to start working really early. I started working at a tire shop at 12 years old. And from there, just hanging out with those guys and stuff, eventually start drinking when I got older. So I was too much alcohol in my life. So I need a change. So he met the sport, start training. But still drinking and training for like 4 years. And then I need a complete change. He quit everything and just focus 100%. And that's where he is now here.
E hoje estou aqui, fazendo o que eu amo.
And I understand you're not the only sporty one in your family. Your sister is having her first MMA fight in LFA this week. How is she preparing and feeling, and what advice have you been able to give to her for her debut in MMA?
Sabe? Quando está dentro da academia, aquele pouco tempo.
Well, my advice for her is more about dedication. You know, a regular person might just go in training, because it's cool, but on a high performance athlete, it's not whenever you feel like it's gotta do what you gotta do. So I teach her how to stay consistent, to give her best on the little time that you have on training, in all the structures that you have, not only me, we all the guys too, we try to just give her the best mindset.
Tá aprendendo muito. E os conselhos que eu dou pra ela é esse.
Let's talk about your fight now. How much is Israel Adesanya a reason why you got into MMA yourself?
Mas em 2015 eu estreiei no MMA, né? Onde o Adesanya ainda não estava dentro.
Well, I actually did not went to MMA because of Israel, because I made my debut in 2015. Then I keep going on kickboxing. But what made me that switch to want to go to MMA was when a few years ago I came to help Glover Teixeira for one of his fights, and then I just say this is where I
E
gotta
eu
go.
realmente falei, é isso que eu quero.
So talking of Glover Teixeira, how impactful has he been in your career, and what have you learnt from Glover?
Vamos falar da idade, né? Porque é uma coisa que não é comum. Chegar da idade que ele tá chegando e fazer.
I'm just gotta be thankful, you know what I mean?
Cara onde
Such a great guy. He's have a good role model of a story for all of us. You know what I mean? I admire him for his energy, for his mindset, for his humility. So he had a lot to my life.
tá certo pra mim. Eu só tenho que agradecer.
How much is this fight with Israel personal? He's said for him it is personal. Is it personal for you too?
Não, pra mim não é pessoal, eu tô.
For him, it's personal, but for me, it's not. I'm just focusing on my thing, and for me now, it's like I'm fighting him for the first time.
Eu fosse lutar pela primeira vez.
You have been playing those mind games, posting a lot of videos of your first two fights, of you having your hand raised with Israel knocked out on the floor. Do you feel like you can get inside his mind? Obviously, he has a very strong mentality, but do you think you can get into his mind ahead of this fight?
Bom, eu acho que não é questão de provocação, né? Que eu vou estar abalando ele.
Well, all the trash talk, all those mind games, okay, might be able to get in on his mind, but that's not what I'm focusing at because I can't just go there, cross my arms, and expect that to do my fight. You know what I mean? I gotta stay focused, go over there, and do my thing, stay calm.
Ficar nessa luta e fazer o meu melhor.
You said you're treating this as the first time you fought Israel, but obviously you do have inside knowledge, albeit several years ago, as to how to fight him and what he does well. How do you feel like he has evolved as a fighter? And also for yourself and your MMA game, how much have you improved as an MMA fighter?
Eu acho que eu evolui mais do que ele, né? Porque
Israel started training when he was a child. I started training old. So due to the fact that he's been training for so long, I actually evolved the most because I was a very young fighter when I fought him, and I was still better than him. And I actually conquered my best and being my best now after that fight.
agora foi a maior parte que eu evoluí.
Do you see this being a kickboxing match? Or are you looking to utilize more of your MMA skills? And how do you see yourself getting this one done?
Eu não consigo visualizar. Eu tô pronto.
Well, I'm facing this as an MMA fight. Okay, we're gonna spend a lot of time on our feet, but if it comes to the point that I gotta take him down, I will take him down.
No chão. Eu tenho como fazer isso.
What would it mean to you to become the UFC champion? And then where do you see your career going from there? What are your aspirations and goals?
Né, de uma qualidade de vida que eu tinha, a que eu tenho hoje.
Well, that means a lot to me because, so far I've been able to touch a lot of people's hearts and minds with my story. And my friends, my family, the people that follows me. So I think me winning this belt is gonna give me a bigger platform to tell my
Todo
story.
vai conhecer da minha história.
Are there other current or former Brazilian UFC champions that have been role models to you or people whose careers you've aspired to or looked up to in some way?
Bom, tem o Anderson Silva e José Aldo. São dois caras.
Anderson Silva and Jose Aldo inspires me through everything that they did in their careers. So I want to do something similar.
Quero fazer algo parecido.
And lastly from me, do you see yourself going up to the light heavyweight division at some point as well, looking to potentially be a two-weight world champion in MMA and UFC in the same way you were in kickboxing?
Eu tenho estrutura para isso. Muitas pessoas falam do meu peso, porque eu tô grande, mas eu...
Well, I do have body structure for that. Sometimes I got a little too heavy, but when I'm on vacation, I'm relaxing. But for now, I'm focusing on being champion of this division, defend the belt multiple times.
defender por várias vezes.
And before you go, tell your fans, tell the audience, what can they look forward to seeing from you on Saturday night?
Tô muito feliz, né, de estar disputando esse cinturão. É uma
Tell
grande
them they can expect the show here at Madison Square Garden, fitting my moment, and this is my moment.
Esse é o meu momento. Vou me tornar campeão.
Alex, obrigado.
Obrigado. De nada.